Hey everybody, it's David Becker here with BeckerArt, and today I have a great tip I want to share with you guys about masking fluid and how to apply it to a sheet of your watercolor paper. And this has always been a problem with a lot of different manufacturers that have been making things, and we got all kinds of gadgets to do this, and brushes to put soap on, and all this stuff to put the masking fluid onto your paper. And everybody's got their own idea, and I just found a way from somebody that was working in one of my classes that I found to be just the best way I found possible to now get that masking fluid onto your paper. Let me tell you right now on our tabletop. What is it? Ink pens. This is amazing. Can't believe I never thought of this. One of the ladies, I forgot who it was, but she was working in my class, and she had one of her ink pens, one of these nice ink pens, that you used to use with ink, and she was using it with masking fluid. What ingenious idea! Because these nibs that you get, from Speedball here, look at this old thing I got. I found in my collection of my things I used to own when I was in schools and stuff. But look at these different sizes of nibs that you use for ink. And remember, like these ink pens for calligraphy and everything like that. So here is some ink, acrylic ink. This is a Holbein acrylic ink. And I'm just I put a little bit out here, and just to show you what you can do with ink, all right? It's like calligraphy. You're gonna do my name here. You can just write my name here, in calligraphy. And so, right? So what a great ingenious idea, to use an ink pen. And then if you find a liquid masking fluid that's really liquidy, which is, by the way, Holbein's is very liquidy, then you can just use your masking fluid as ink. And you can just basically use your ink pen to apply this masking fluid to your paper. And so even if you want to write down your name, here you won't be able to see this very well, but I'm just going to take the ink and I'll put it on there, and I'll show you later how it worked, because nice thing about this masking fluid by Holbein is very liquidy, very fluidy, I should say. And again, I'm just writing my name. I'm just going to put it out there, and just like you would be doing with a regular ink pen, basically. And so there's different size ink pens, the nibs, and like I said, they come anywhere from FBO, FB half an inch, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Those are what it says on here, and these are very old. Look at the old. I don't know how old these are, but if you look, this is a big round thing. It has a big round tip to it. See, the tip is very round right there, very round, and you dip this into masking fluid and then use it. So I got a couple of these. Here's a pointy one. This one right here is very pointy. So this one I would use for really small, thin lines, right? And so I just put it in there, dip it in like you would a regular ink pen, and then just start, making your line. And make sure that your fluid, masking fluid, is very fluid, for one. This is a very fine point, so you're going to get very fine lines, which you actually can't see because it's so fine, and this is transparent. But then I'm going to let this dry to show you when I apply some of the water color across it. This masking fluid is really nice in the fact that it kind of repels the paint, and so you'll see exactly what you're going across. So let me do a few more lines here. This is almost like 1/8 of an inch nib. See, it's like 1/8 of an inch nib. And so I'm just going to put my, and just make a straight line. I can do like calligraphy and stuff, but just to show you that, like, let's say you got a bunch of fence posts or something, and then you just put them in there like that. So it's very simple, and gosh, I can't believe I never thought about this. I was just, sometimes it's amazing that you don't think of certain things, and luckily there's enough smart people out there, and that have the lady, and I wish I could remember her name, who had showed me this in my class, because I would like to credit her, but I don't forget who it was. Look at this, great lines, and then you can put your name in there, and you can just spell your name with a nib real quickly. And again, remember to get nice, I find that the Pebeo sometimes is a little bit too thick. Pebeo masking fluid, and what's the other one? There's like Winsor Newton has some, that's pretty liquidy, that's kind of pinkish, I think. And so they all have their different little versions of the masking fluid, but Holbein is a light green, and when you put it down, it repels really well. And you don't have to put much down either. Most people put way too much down, and then when it gets hardened, like a lot of times after a while, it gets thicker, and then you put on way too much. And then what happens is then too, is when you're putting on way too much, it rips the paper sometimes because it absorbs into the paper. And again, make sure that you only leave it on for a couple of days, for a little bit. Don't leave it on there for weeks on end and hopefully get it off. You won't be getting it off. And so that's one of the things I tell my students, to put it on and take it off as quick as possible. And then to clean your thing, just dip it in water. And here it's really easy because they're wide open, and you just take your finger. I should do this in the camera. You take your finger and you just pull off the masking fluid, when it's dirty, and wash it right away. But I'm waiting for this to dry a little bit, and you'll see. Let me just take some. I'm going to take my brush and just put a little bit of dark color across it. Here, I'm just going to put a little black. Here's a little bit of black. And when you put it across the masking fluid, see how it repels? It repels the masking fluid. And there's my name. And some of this is not even dry, but it's in time. You see how it repels it, and it shows you what you did with the masking fluid pen. I call it masking fluid pen now. It's an ink pen with the nibs, with the ink nibs, and you can buy the pen and the nib. I put it into the listing of the. I'll put that in there, and an Amazon link to get some of these nibs and the pen. They come a lot of times with a set. You from thick to thin, and I'll put that in again in the description of the video. You can find them down there. And then how do you take off the masking fluid? Of course, a rubber cement pickup, which I will also. It's just a piece of rubber. Sometimes you can just do it with your finger. Make sure you have not too greasy fingers, because you don't want to. And also make sure it's totally dry. Now this is not going to be dry before the time I end here. So, but you can just take your rubber cement pickup. This is a rubber cement pickup, and just take it off of there. You can use your finger and just wipe it off with your finger. You can also use kneaded rubber eraser. That's another way of getting it out there. But I just found it to be very interesting that you can use a ink pen nib to put on your masking fluid. What a great concept, and I couldn't wait to tell you guys. It's like, get yourself a nib now, and don't worry about all the other stuff. Like the rubber brushes, the masking fluid brushes. This by far is the best way of putting it on there. Let me tell you. There's also the ruling pen, which is also for making long lines. That's still a pretty good way of making really long lines, because I'm not sure if you can make a really long line with a pen like this. Probably with practice you can. Let me see. Because it'll probably, with a ruling pen, it's really easy. Well, look at that. It's a nice long line. So I guess you can do that with that too. You take a ruler and just apply it on there. So that probably works too. It's everything you do. Always remember to practice first. Practice with it first, so you make sure that you can do it. Don't do it on a painting that you feel like you want to do real good on. Use it more as in practice. And so, again, get yourself some ink nibs with a pen holder and use it for your masking fluid. And I think this is dry enough. And see, I can either use my finger. See, it comes right off with my finger, or a rubber cement pickup. Just taking it off of here, and that was still wet right there, so that's going to mess it all up. And so, but you get the idea. See the nice little lines I got with just a nib, with just an ink nib, and like I said, it has to be pretty fluidy though. Don't get some of this thicker Pabio. I think they're a little bit too thick when you first get it. Though I think when you first get all these, they're pretty liquidy. But Holbein definitely is the most liquid I've ever found, the thinnest, almost like ink. And so why not use an ink pen? All right. So there's your tip for the week. And if you want to get some more tips like this, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, David R. BeckerArt. And come watch me paint every Thursday. The paint along I do for free, and you can paint along or subscribe to my, subscribe to my newsletter, and you'll get it every Tuesday to what we're painting on Thursday. All right, until then, we'll see you next time. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.